Hi, the first part we're going to start with is going to be the lid. And you'll recognize this piece. It's kind of a funky little piece. And what we always do before we do any pieces is dry fit. And so this piece, you're going to, the way that you're going to put it in, you're going to slide underneath here. It's going to be a little tricky because everything's going to be tacky with glue. And then you'll just join these two pieces up at the top. And then you're going to want to use the circles around the hinges, especially on the fabric, as your benchmark. So that'll be one benchmark for you. The other benchmark is going to be the nose here. And then you'll see I have a slit cut here for this wire. And you're not going to have a slit in yours, so you're just going to have to cut it yourself because we're not sure where everybody's wires, if they're going to be in the exact same spot. So you just take your scissors and you just cut into the fabric up into about the rubber, okay? So it's not a big deal. And then what we do, now that we have the dry fit, make sure you're really comfortable with how this is going to go in, because it's going to be laying in. When you come back and install it, you're going to have to get it all secured in here. But make sure you're comfortable with how it's going to go in. And then we take the piece. We make sure that we spray the glue on the rough side of the fabric, so make sure you're familiar, that you're working right side bag, left side bag, that you don't intermingle your parts. Then we'll go back, we'll spray this, and then we'll come back, spray the bag, and do the install. All right, so you have your can of glue. One thing you want to make sure is that you shake it real thoroughly, and I have my piece with the rough side up. And so you're going to want to spray this liberally. Make sure you get the outside edges. And if they don't adhere real good for you right away, don't worry. We have a fail-safe method to come back. Okay, now I'm going to jump up to the bag. I'm going to leave that piece. I'm going to spray inside the bag here. Again, keep shaking the can every so often. And when you're comfortable with the glue that you have on, you want to bring your piece over. And again, we're using the circles down at the bottom as a benchmark, but you have to slide this underneath here. And then you're going to look for your benchmark on the nose there. Get that in place. You're going to put these in place. And you can always kind of lift this up, so don't be afraid of not being able to peel it back up if you don't like exactly where it is. You got to work it a little. And then this piece will come around and meet up with this one. Go back and work this side a little bit. You're working over that wire there. And you just need to take a little time, make sure everything gets flattened. And there you go, you got your first piece installed. You probably have to work a little more to flatten it out, but don't worry if everything doesn't seem to be sucking in, because as it dries, it will really pull in. Just a little tip about the glue. You'll see here where we've got some white. Anything you see that's white is going to be glue. And that's where your mineral spirits comes in. You can kind of go back and clean it up. Some folks prefer to clean it up as they go. Other people prefer to wait. I prefer, and my suggestion and recommendation is that you wait a little bit, because you've got glue that's still trying to adhere. You're trying to get the tack. So, you know, take your time, let it set up a little bit, and then come back and work that with the mineral spirits, and I'll take it right off. And as you know by now, by doing the first piece, this is a game of patience and just taking your time, okay? All right, the next piece that we're going to install is going to be the back of the bag. All right, this is the next piece that we're going to do. It's the back of the bag. You have all kinds of benchmarks with this piece. The first, and this is a dry fit. Make sure you're really comfortable with this before you move on to the glue. But you're going to go over the latch part. The squares are going to go over the lock hinges to hold the bag in place. And you're going to want to get those in place first. You've got another benchmark over here with a hole to go around that piece. Okay, and you're going to want to make sure that you get it lined up. When you come back with the glued piece, you want to line up along the top here, and then you're going to want to slide along the side here that's by the cubby. Okay, you want to get as tight to that cubby as you possibly can. Okay, and what I've found works really well, you know, you're gonna come in, you're gonna get all your benchmarks in place, you're gonna slide down here, but then you're just gonna let it flow, tuck it in real tight here, and then let it flow down and around. What makes it a lot easier is if you have a partner that holds this piece up when you come back to the bag with it all glued. Okay, one last thing that we're gonna do to this bag is we've given you a scrap piece, and we've cut 2 little squares like this. So we're gonna glue these. There's a couple of bolts in the bottom of the bag that stick out a lot. And so it helps, we're gonna glue these down into the bottom of the bag over those bolts, just like that. We're gonna spray the back of them, spray the bag a little bit, and then we're gonna put this piece right over that, okay? Okay, I've sprayed the back side of these little pieces. I've sprayed that little area in the bag. And all we're gonna do, these are pretty wet, so all we're gonna do is let them tack up, let them kind of dry a little bit, and then just kind of push them in place right over those bolts there. That'll just give you a little bit smoother bottom without doing any real extra work to get it. Okay, make sure that these are, you know, my hands are a little tacky right now. I need to clean them with mineral spirits, but make sure that these are nice and secure before you move to doing this back piece. Okay, and they are a little wet right now, so they're both kind of drying off a little bit. All right, again, we're going to shake the glue. We've got the rough side. You know, you dry fitted it, so you know which side is the right side and the wrong side. We're going to make sure we spray the wrong side. You're going to come back to the bag, and you're going to just come, and you can see I've got those little pieces in the bottom. You're just going to spray right over those. The glue tends to not want to come out of the can when it's kind of tipped on its side. It really does help to have a partner, you know, if you're worried about glue getting sprayed in your house or whatever. Have your partner kind of shield. I'm going to go back and get the piece, and this is where your partner comes in real handy. You're going to have your partner hold the end of this up, and then you're going to come in and hit your benchmark right there, right away. Hit your other benchmark over here. Then you're going to kind of line it up along the top so you get a nice fit. You're going to work to this other side. This is, you got a little tucking to do here, tucking that little piece down on that circle and then around that little grommet there and then up and around it. Now here's where you want to take it from your partner. You want to stay tight to this side over here by the cubby. You want to keep real tight to the edge there and work it all the way down. And stay real tight there. That way you'll save yourself a lot of fix up later. Okay, and then you want to make sure that you kind of work the bag, make sure you get it nice and tight in that corner, down at the bottom corner, and then continue to just kind of let it flow over, staying tight to this corner. And alright, and then you just want to take your time, press it in place, get it all worked in. Okay. Just want to give you a quick glimpse. You're going to have to really work this piece with your hands. You want to get them in those grooves in that back part of the bag. That's where I kind of let my partner come in and do some of that work. Get it all pressed out. Make sure you do this before you move on to the next piece. All right, the next piece we're going to install is going to be the front of the bag. And this piece, you'll see that when we dry fit this, you see this little cutout here. That's going to go around where that wire is clipped in, and it's going to slide in and run along where that wire is running along the side here. And then it's going to fit along the top, so you're going to still be able to access where that wire is. So you're going to come along the top here, and then we want you, when you come back with the glue, it's a little corner here going into the cubby. We want you to wrap this so that you're kind of picking up that edge there. You don't want to go just to the edge, you want to wrap it. So you're going to push it just a little more to that right side. What's going to happen, this is just going to flow down in, and you're going to have some overlap at the bottom, which is fine. You know, you're not going to really be able to be noticing that much, but that's how we make sure all the ground gets covered. So what I'm going to do is just go back, spray the rough side of the piece. I'm going to come back and spray this, and since we already did the lid, we have a piece of plastic here that we're going to pull over to cover what we've already done so that we're not spraying any glue on that. So I'm going to go spray this, I'm going to come back and spray this, and then we'll do the install. Alright, I'm back for the install. It's kind of crazy spraying in there. It looks like a bunch of crazy glue on the carpet liner, but don't worry, we can clean it up with mineral spirits. And I'm going to kind of go in like this. Make sure I get over on my corner here that I'm wrapping around that edge there. I think that really is the easiest to come in and make sure you wrap that. And then down in. And then we're going to come across the top here. Make sure we've got it where we want it. You're going to work underneath here, underneath that little clip. Pull your wire up a little bit so you can tuck in back there. And then down and around underneath And then you just press it down in place. Let it flow down in. And then because my hands are all tacky, I'm gonna let my partner come in and press it smoothly in place. Good job. Okay, we wanted to come back and just, we've got a lot of glue in here from that. So I've got a rag. It's got mineral spirits on it, and you can just make sure that you don't put your hands, if they have mineral spirits on your bag, you don't want to touch that paint job. But you just basically, you come in and you rub it, and it will lift all the glue. And you may have to come back after it's totally dry and do the rest of this, but we thought we'd take a little of this off right now since we had an opportunity to show you. Okay, the next piece we're going to put in is just that little tiny little square down in there. The piece looks like this. I'm not going to spray the bag. It's already got some spray in there, so I'm not going to spray the bag. I'm only going to spray the back of this. I'm going to come back and lay it in there. So this one, it's critical that you get it to the bottom, okay? All right, so I've got the piece sprayed. You're going to have trouble seeing this because I need to get both my hands in here, but you want to make sure you get it down to the bottom, okay? And then just work it up around. You may have a little overlap on the side, not a big deal, but make sure you get it pushed down in, pressed in place. You're going to see some glue residue, but don't worry about it. We'll get it cleaned up. And that's it for that piece. All right, the next part we're going to do is the part that's going to be toward the front of the bag and the back of the cubby hole. So you're going to do the front side, and then the back is how it's going to wrap. So here's the cutout. The opposite end of that is what's going to line up on the front side here by the cubby. These you're kind of working blind with some of these pieces, but the dry fit on this is match up that front end, then push that back in around, okay? And you can kind of feel, I mean, this one, like I said, you're kind of working blind. This is going to match up real nice there. Gosh, I wish I had glue on it already. It fits in there really nice, but it is kind of a pain in the butt. So just take your time with it. Make sure you get it, pushed down toward the bottom. But again, this is a time and patience piece here. And again, this is your front edge that's gonna match up there. So make sure you're mindful of that when you bring the piece back. All right, this is where the pain in the butt thing comes in. This is a really tough piece to get spray in the bag here. So just do the best you can. Know that you have glue on the piece that you're putting in. So, all right, so here's my piece, my straight edge opposite that. That's really what I want to make sure gets lined up first and foremost, so it matches up real good there. All down the edge. So you have a nice clean seam there. And then you're going to just press it back in. It's going to follow along that auxiliary. Make sure you have it down toward the bottom. It's okay to pull it back up if it isn't quite where you think it needs to be. And then make sure you get it pulled down. All right. I don't like the way I have it, so I'm going to pull it out, so don't be afraid to do that if you don't like what you got. It's like I said, you're working blind almost here, so pull it back out if you don't like it. All right. Okay, this is we're working the right-hand bag, so it does have the auxiliary power in this one. So this piece has a slit in it. And the way that this goes in, this side is going to meet up on the front right here. And then I want you to pull this down because we're going to cover up this little the round over there. So we're going to cover that up with this. So you're going to pull this piece forward enough to cover that. So that's where you're going to start on this piece when you come back to do the install, is you're going to cover up that round over. And then you're going to want to kind of work from here to the corner, okay? And then that slit is going to go over. Then you're going to pitch back into the back of the cubby, and then you'll see how that rounds over, that auxiliary there. And then this piece will just kind of lay up in there, in the side there, okay? But we're going to pull it forward. We're going to work the front edge first and then push back in, slit going over the auxiliary for you there. Then we'll only have 2 pieces left and you'll be done. Okay, I'm back. Everything's got glue. This is another really fun piece for you. Again, we're going to fold it over in the front here a little bit. You're going to get that corner tucked in. Take care of that roll over there. This piece is going to pitch up here. The fabric has give, so all right, now I'm tucking in here in the corner and down in the front, and then I'm rolling it back along the side of that auxiliary piece. And you got to kind of do a little push-pull here. Make sure you keep it out on this front edge. Fold it around that auxiliary piece a little bit. Kind of push it back. This is one you're just going to have to take a little time and keep working it till you get it right where you want it. You'll notice I pulled it up and I'm pushing it back in again. All right. All right, we have 2 pieces left. This larger piece here, the smaller part of it goes to the front of the bag. Going to make sure you have your right side, wrong side. It's going to slide up in. You're just going to match it up with the front edge here. Okay? This piece, I'm not going to go in and spray the bag. I'm going to spray this and come back and put that in. Then this is your final piece, which is a trim piece. So you're going to put it here, side to side, and then just let it roll over just a little bit, okay? And that'll finish everything off. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to spray this piece, come back, put this one in, and I'm going to go spray this piece and come back and put this one in. So remember, you know, as you're doing your fit, again, rough side is the side that you're going to spray. So make sure you know what you're doing. You're working blind on this one. Any overlap back in the cubby doesn't matter. Okay? Okay, got this glued on the rough side. I'm going to line it up with that front edge. I know this is hard for you to see because it's black on black, but we'll do the best we can to show you how to do this. Line it up. Push it up in there. Here's where a partner comes in handy if your hands are all sticky. Just press it up in place there. And then I'm going to bring the other one, which I've already sprayed, and put this right at the top here. Okay, line it up at the top, and then I'm just going to roll it over just a little bit. Again, this is where a partner kind of comes in handy. My hands are got a lot of glue on them, so I'm going to let my partner come in and press all that in place, and then we'll come back and show you some final little tricks for cleaning up and any mistakes that you may have made. All right, we've gone ahead and pulled all our tape, and what you'll find once you pull tape is that you may have a few edges that didn't get glued down. Got a little bit of an edge here, and you know, maybe this one we might need to sand that just a little bit more, and here. And so what you're gonna do, we usually like to wait until the next day, because then you can see what's stuck, what hasn't. You can get some of your cleanup done, because that's going to take you just a little bit of time. But here's how we fix these little things like this. You can buy a little, you know, pack of little brushes, like at the dollar store. I think I paid 99 cents for these 5 brushes, because I don't really care, and I'm going to throw them away when we're done. So what we do is we take some glue from your can. You're going to have some left over. Spray it onto your, you know, a baggie or some kind of plastic. Take one of these cheap brushes, and they're good because the bristles are hard on them. And then you just go to your spot, you pull it back a little bit, you put some glue onto the surface, and you just press it back in place, okay? So that takes care of that. So make sure you go around all your edges, double check them, see if they're pulling up. And then lastly, what we like to at least let you know about, if you don't get real tight in the corner down here, you may have some little pull away where you actually see some bag. And what you can do is you can take some of that extra fabric that we include with your kit, cut a little piece that's going to fit, put a little glue on it. You can either spray it, dip it, brush it, however you want to do it, and then just tuck it in that little spot. This bag we got perfectly tight. We don't have any areas here where we need to go back and do any filling. But if you do, real easy to fix. You just tuck that little piece in there with a little glue on and you'll be done. Okay, all right, congratulations. You've completed. This was the right-hand bag. Now you're going to go back and do the left-hand bag. The cubby's going to be a little easier because you don't have the auxiliary to go around, but same principle on the left-hand side of the bag. If you have any questions, visit our website, give us a phone call. We're always happy to